Hey, it's Mark Kelly here from Mark's Recruitment blog. Hope you're doing well. Today I'm going to share with you my thoughts when the interview is going downhill and you know it, and give you a bit of advice on how to actually retrieve it, get it back on track, and in some cases use the interview bad points as plus points in the future. So I'll start off. From my experience from setting up thousands of interviews, some of the interviews that have gone badly, where the candidate could have got the job if they actually were more relaxed and actually could have retrieved the situation. There was definitely an element of frustration from the candidate's perspective, for myself, and also from the employers on how that actually candidate conducted themselves in that post. So today I'm going to give you a little bit of just advice on how to actually handle that situation. And I'll also give you a bit of a personal overview about what I actually did in an interview, and I pretty much crashed and burned at the end of it. So I'll give you a bit of the overview about my personal approach. About 10 years ago, I went for an interview in a high-end retail store. And I was nailing the interview 3/4 way through. I got to the final round interview, and what had happened was the senior director at the time had asked me, they said, "What do you think of our stores? What's your opinion of them?" And I said, I think they're very, very good, very effective, very customer focused, and just a great place to be. And they said, "Good, that's a really good answer, thanks for that." And what else they then pinpointed me on is what stores I'd been to and when did I go. So I said I was in their Dublin City stores. I'd also been in their Clane store as well. I said, "Okay, that's interesting. When were you in the Clane store?" And I said, about 2 months ago, from what I could recall. And they said, "Well, that's interesting because we're only open a week. So how were you there 2 months ago?" So I backtracked. I said, "Actually, sorry, it wasn't your Clane store. It was your Kilcock store. My mistake. Don't have a store in Kilcock." And so on and so on. It wasn't pretty. I looked quite foolish, but rather than actually acknowledge to say, "I wasn't in your store, I did go to your store in the city centre, but that was it," like anybody that would be quite reasonable to do, I took it further and I said, "Yes, I was in your store, I just got my timing wrong." That kind of put me off for the rest of the interview, and luckily enough, there was only 2 questions left, but it definitely left a bad taste in everyone's mouth. And most importantly, that big elephant in the room followed me out as I left. 48 hours later, I did get the job. Surprisingly enough, the managing director had said they're going to offer me a job, but he did want clarification on my answer. At the time, I said to him, I was very enthusiastic. I went overboard. I had visited one of his stores, but I didn't visit any of the stores outside of Dublin. I wanted to actually come across more knowledgeable than I did. He took that answer, but for me, it was a mistake I didn't need to make as well. From my experience, candidates can go in to answer technical questions or any more detailed questions, and they can be over enthusiastic with their answer. They can go down a certain approach, they can give their reasons and their rationale for it, they can go blank, they can panic, they can get sweaty, they can fudge the answer and then stick to that answer and not actually just admit they fudged it. And that can impact the rest of the interview, because the interviewer is feeling kind of cringing for that person that has answered it that way. The interviewee is worried about that question they've answered, and they're not actually thinking straight for the other questions going forward. And everybody is feeling a little bit uneasy in the interview process. If that happens, there's a simple approach to take. Take a deep breath, stay calm, and acknowledge it. Say, "I've answered that question incorrectly. In hindsight, I would answer it this way." Or, "To be honest with you, I've completely fudged that answer. I don't know the answer to the question. I haven't got experience in it. If I was to approach it, my experience would be this, or I'd give this piece of advice, but I don't understand which way to go with it. So can you please forget everything I said before that on that, because I don't understand." And if you do that, it's over with. Game on, you move on. But if you don't, it's going to be lingering, and the interviewer is going to be wondering why you haven't actually acknowledged it. It's actually a very, very good thing to acknowledge it, because what the interviewer will see is that you're open to feedback, you've got good self-analysis skills to actually say that wasn't the correct way to approach it, and also shows that you're humble and willing to actually open up for feedback to actually change your approach as well. all those traits people can work with. The other traits people can't, because they'll actually either not trust your approach, they'll feel you're too stubborn, they'll also feel you're not open to feedback or you're willing to change as well. And in a dynamic environment, or pretty much any type of environment, people don't want to work with people like that. So please take that on board when you're actually looking to answer those different types of questions as well. From my perspective, it's always good just to ask at the end as well, would you like extra clarification on any of the points that I've answered today? And just coming back to that point, are you happy with my answer with that? I'm kicking myself that I said it. Again, being very open to it, so then they feel good about that whole process too. If you've got any other questions or feedback on that, please let me know. I'd be very interested to see, did you have any awkward moments in interviews? Did you ever answer an interview question where you either knew it and kicked yourself because you weren't able to explain it, you've bluffed it, or you've actually pretended you knew the answer, got through it, and actually nailed the process anyway? I'd love to hear from you. For any other information, just send me an email. Please subscribe, and I look forward to speaking to you in the near future. Have a great day. See you now. Bye.